wondering, what did happen to the last 10? I ran away with my life, fast forward, never turn back again. It's kind of funny that the more we pass time, the more we need to set the rewind. And 19 was the year I had to leave you, but now I'm seeing all the signs. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours again. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 get something from nothing. I sit here looking for an answer. Maybe the biggest question was in the last chapter. You gave me the
And holding a smile for 20 minutes was easier. But this wasn't the only factor, as camera quality increased over the years and by 1900 had become very advanced for the time. By the 1900s, cameras could take a photo in around 20 seconds. Introduction of the Brownie and other cameras reduced exposure times, meaning that people could hold a smile. They were slow by today's standards but fast for the time. Number 2, the portraiture photography was initially seen as an alternative art form of painting. There are also ties with the idea of portraits being a special moment to document a person's existence. Before cameras, this would have been hand-painted, which would have taken hours. The idea of having a portrait done was associated with a special occasion, whether it be to commemorate a birthday, achievement, or celebration. The idea of a portrait was to take time to capture the significant moment. This tradition was passed on even when camera came to play. It is thought that people of the time carried this mentality of being a serious and significant moment even when photography was introduced. Number 3, the Victorian obsession with portraits of the dead. Another reason you see people looking serious could be the Victorian tradition of taking photos of the deceased. Cameras made the ability to take photos more accessible and more manageable. In Victorian times, it became increasingly popular to photograph the dead. This is because, unlike today, photos were seen as a way to capture a frozen presentation of a person, as opposed to today's association of photography being used to capture a moment in time. Once a loved one passed away, they would be dressed in black and placed upright to be photographed. This was somewhat of a documentation process and was seen as a passage to immortality. These portraits are often thought to have been why people associate some of the first portraiture photography with seriousness. However, the photos were just a style of portraiture. Smiling was disapproved from 1800 to 1900. As well as having an unusual interest in photographing the dead, the Victorians and the Edwardians disapproved of smiling. At that time, smiling was considered idiotic and a lower class action. Being serious and keeping a straight face was believed to be the most powerful and elegant facial expression. Although there is no way of proving this theory, it can be learned through historical texts and documents. This could be a high contender because no one smiled for photos. It was seen as foolish to smile, so looking serious was important in portraits. Overall, people never smile in old photos for various reasons. The common trend is related to what was acceptable at the time and technical hindrances. Smiling in photography and portraits was initially challenging due to the time it took to capture an image. Aside from the technical aspect, another factor is the standards and ideals of the time. For example, smiling was looked down on and was seen as improper. It's almost impossible to find smiling portrait photographs from this era, which has fueled the subject's curiosity. I hope you found this video interesting, and if you did, please consider to subscribe the channel, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. I will be back with another interesting fact. Bye bye.